everyone. Welcome back to Build. I'm your host, Brittany Jones-Cooper, and today I'm sitting down with Boris Kodjoe from Station 19. The show follows a group of heroic Seattle firefighters as they put their lives and hearts on the line. Kodjoe plays Captain Robert Sullivan, a stickler for the rules who is calm under pressure. Take a look.
Looks like the fire is seated at the rear of the building. Bravo side.
First thing, we'll do a 360 around the perimeter. I'll call it in. We need assistance at 436 Nelson Street. We got a structure fire in progress.
Copy. Dispatching 42 to your location.
Think you ought to wait for backup?
We don't have a hose line or any standard gear beyond turnouts and bottles.
Help! Please, help!
Sir, are there any more people inside?
Yeah, Theo, I'm not sure how many. You have to get them out, please.
Waiting now.
No, there isn't.
Put your hands together for Boris Kodjoe.
Ooh.
Action, intrigue, love. Welcome to Shondaland.
Yeah, this was, I don't like the clip, actually. Because it's not really a lot going on, you know?
I don't want to give too much away.
That's true, you're right.
We got to make them tune in.
That's why
and
they
watch on
didn't pick
Thursday.
the death scene? Oh,
Oh, wow. Spoiler alert, guys. So I want to talk about what's coming up.
How's everybody? Did they pay you to be here?
No,
Yes, they did.
I don't think they had to pay them to come see you.
Well, I'm glad.
We were sold out.
I'm happy that you guys are here. Nobody answers. Whatever.
So the show, I do love the show. I interviewed Jaina and Jason when this show first started, and I know you came on as a series regular in season 2. So what was that like for you walking into this cast where I know they're like a family, and the Shondaland family is so big? What was that like for you walking in?
It was instant family.
Yeah.
Shonda does a lot of things really well. She has effectively changed the way we watch TV. She's changed the face of TV. And she knows how to assemble a team of great people. And I mean that in terms of talent, and I also mean that in terms of character, which makes it a really, really huge pleasure to be amongst that kind of family. Everybody is just cool. Whether it's the cast or the writers or the producers, the crew, they're all really good people. So it makes a lot of fun. It makes it a lot of fun going to work.
And she has different shows, but there's something specifically about Station 19 that was interesting to you. What was it about this character or this world?
Well, you know, Captain Sullivan is a authority figure. Yeah. He's a guy who doesn't take anybody's shit. He comes in, he challenges people, he needs people to step up. He wants people to maximize their potential. So he's all about discipline, structure, and he puts down the law.
And when you came onto the show, I know some people on social media were like, he's too strict. I remember the fans reacting, and that's a testament to...
I love that. I love when the
work.
audience loves to hate me. Yeah. It's the best part of it. It's a lot of fun because, you know, we all have layers. We're not one-dimensional beings. You know, we have issues. We've faced some challenges in life, you know, that scarred us, and so there's levity, and then there's also some depth and substance to the characters, which I love.
What kind of work did you do to get into the psychology of him?
Just a bunch of arson around town.
Yeah.
Yeah. Set a couple fires, threw matches at my kids.
Yeah.
And
teaching them agility, it's an important skill
yeah, hey,
to learn.
Hey, discipline. Gotta have discipline to survive. No, you know, we have 2 amazing fire techs on set all the time. One is Dwayne Golden and Brian Cummings, and they're actual fire captains. So they watch me every step of the way and make sure that what I do is correct. And I also go to them with questions. You know, I ask them, you know, what would I do here? Would I do this first? Would I take down the hose first? How would I hold this? And then we wear 40 pounds of gear. So it really helps you get into character when you have to put on, you know, your shell and the tank and all this stuff to play your part.
And Captain Sullivan is so stoic. How much of his backstory did you know when you first took on the role? Because we start to see some of these layers get pulled back, him losing his wife, all these emotional things that explain why he is so sort of strict. But how much did you know going in, and how has that changed how you approach him?
When I first met with them, they were talking about Sullivan as, like you said, he's a stoic guy, and we don't know what's going on with him yet. And then we sort of developed that together. You know, as an actor, you like to infuse your characters with things that you can relate to on a personal level. And I had just lost my father a year earlier, so I was intimately aware of what it meant to lose somebody close to you. And so they wrote the part of my wife's and how she passed and what that did to him and the relationship with him and his best friend. And so it's fun to develop these characters and the background of these characters and come up with things that you can relate to as an actor.
Are there parts of him that you've put in that are of yourself?
Oh, yeah, all the time. I mean, you know, going through a traumatic experience like that is one. On a daily basis, there's things that I can infuse, whether it's my own relationship or the way I chase my kids around or certain conflict that I've been in with people and the way you react to that or other things that you can associate with.
You seem to be pretty disciplined in your real life too.
Why would you say that?
Because you're an actor, and I feel like you gotta like work out, you gotta find jobs, you gotta do all this stuff. And then I saw on your Instagram your son was playing ball, and he had like blindfolded himself, and I was like,
Hey.
well, you could see that discipline being passed down, like he was so.
Wow,
focused.
that was deep. Yeah.
Right?
So for those of you who didn't see that, my son is 12, Nicholas, and he loves basketball, and he's really committed to basketball. And on Monday last week, I was looking for him because I was trying to get him to school, and Sophie, his older sister, and I couldn't find him, and she said he was in the garage, so I stepped in the garage, and he was doing his handling drills with 2 balls, and he had blindfolded himself to do his drills while he was, you know, he couldn't see, and he said to me, I got to make it harder in practice so it's easier on the court. Yeah. He's inspired by Magic Johnson, and I took him to his house one time, and they spent an hour together, and Magic showed him the trophy room and gave him some pointers about how to be disciplined and so he took that to heart.
Yeah, I think that's a good lesson to learn at a very young age when you're passionate.
But, you know, my upbringing, you know, I grew up in Germany, and my father's from Ghana, so we have 2 very structured and disciplined cultures in my household, whether it's Germany or Ghana. Both have very stoic and proud people. So I guess that's where I got my, what is it, Stoicism?
Stoicis?
Really? That sounds like a disease. That's not, you're not even close.
I just threw it out there. I just wanted to see where it landed.
Stoicism?
Stoicism? I think a lot of fans are also really looking at Captain Sullivan because it looks like a little love is budding with. Ooh. So what can you tell us about that? Because we know that they've been through sort of a traumatic moment together, and that usually brings people closer.
That's right. They rolled down the hill together in the 8 car and almost died, so that connected them further. And now their relationship is blossoming, developing, first as friends, and we'll see what happens. But Jaina is amazing. She's so much fun to work with. She's always high energy. She's just a great person. She's from New York. And so we actually just filmed 2 nights in a row together. But I guess I can't give that away.
I mean, you can.
I can't. Maybe not. Maybe. I don't know. But all I can say is we filmed underwater. 2 whole nights underwater.
What was that like?
I don't know what that means.
Was that really cold? That sounds actually kind of uncomfortable.
They made it a little more comfortable for us, but it was tough. It was really, really tough. But it was fun at the same time. So stay tuned.
You didn't give us much there. But
Aquaman 2.
We'll have to be tuning in. We're also going to tune in because this show is part of the Shondaland world. There are these amazing crossover episodes that I'm obsessed with.
Yes.
And there's another one coming up.
Another one's coming May 2nd. We have a huge fire coming up in a coffee factory, and one of us goes down hard. So he or she will be transported to Gray's Sloan. Why do I say Gray's Memorial?
Because it's Gray Sloan Memorial. I'm
Thank
deep
you.
in the Gray's Anatomy.
I knew that.
Yeah.
I say GSM.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we'll see if they survive. It's going to be tough.
Who is it?
I don't know.
Oh.
That was really a feeble attempt. to get me.
Because I don't
through.
actually want to get you in trouble, but
Who is it?
but I would love in my mind for it to be Captain Sullivan because I think he's really guarded and Andy doesn't want to, push any boundaries. Obviously, he's the boss. And I think another traumatic situation could bring them together.
Ooh.
Shonda,
yeah.
if you're hiring, I could write some episodes.
Wow, that's good. Maybe we'll change it around a little
But
bit.
what are these crossover episodes like? Because you really then get to kind of interact with a whole new cast.
It's great. I mean, I've been a fan of Grey's Anatomy for a long time. So to just mix it up with them, and then Debbie Allen is the showrunner. So she's like my second mom. To be over there is a lot of fun. Yeah.
I want to take things way back because we're seeing a lot of shows from the 2000s and 90s come back. And I'm always hearing rumblings of soul food.
Ooh.
Any updates on that? Because I do feel like where we are at with television, that it would be such an amazing thing to bring back.
I think it'd be a great idea.
Yeah.
Right? So what would that story look like in your eyes?
Well, I think you can just update it, and you can, because we have so many different representations on TV now, I think having more LGBTQ characters and then all of this stuff in the Black community.
Well, what I'm saying is, would you continue where we stopped, or would you say, okay, it's been 20 years, so now this is a new generation of family members who are, who are experiencing
You got to
these.
fast forward a couple years, so the kids will be grown and they'll have their own storylines, but you got to bring back the cast.
So we should bring back the cast, not have like a new generation soul food?
Yeah, I think we mix it.
Mix
I
it.
think we mix it.
So who would be the nucleus? Would it be me?
You and Nicole.
Captain Sullivan?
I'm just saying, has there been any talks about this seriously, or is it
I think
this is something I want?
I think the fans have talked about it for a long time.
Yeah.
I've heard some things every couple of years.
Yeah.
I would love it. First of all, that's my family. I love all these people. I'm married to one of them. So by default, it would be fun to do it. You know what? I'll investigate for you.
Please do.
I will.
Because I do think it set the tone for a lot of the shows we have now. When you look at what Lena Waithe is doing, when you look at what Issa Rae is doing, The Shy. Yeah, I mean, you look at how Soul Food kind of set that up and introduced that narrative to a whole new audience.
Diversity.
Yeah.
Telling different stories,
Yeah.
not just stereotypical gangster stuff.
Right. Speaking of, I want to talk to you about the Full Circle Festival because to me it looks like the coolest thing.
It's very
and
cool.
seeing you and your family in Ghana together, and then all of the other Black celebrities that came out. Why was it important for you to have that experience for yourself and your family?
That was tremendous. Started 2 years ago when we went. I went as a child a lot, and Bozoma St. John, my partner in crime, shout out to her. She's from Ghana, and she's now this huge marketing guru maven who goes to all the fabulous parties and events and works her butt off. So the president, Nana Akufo-Addo, asked us if we would host an event, a homecoming event, in celebrating the year of return. And for those of you who don't know, if you don't know, you should know. 2019 is the year of return. It's the 400-year anniversary of the beginning of the West African slave trade. So the UN actually coined this the year of return and the decade of return. So we wanted to organize the first event of the year of return. So we brought 100 of our friends, and we brought all of these celebrities in order to sort of trace the steps of our ancestors, reconnect with our emotional heritage, experience the culture firsthand, the food, the music, the people. Went to Afrochella, which is a huge, gigantic concert, featuring the best of the best in Afro beats, and it was spectacular. We did the slave castle tours. We visited the Akwamu, which is a kingdom not far from Accra, the capital. Now, this is what happened. We set out to change the narrative of Africa, specifically Ghana, because the past decades we've been lied to, and we've been fed all these negative images about Africa, from war to famine to mass exodus to Europe, and we wanted to balance that out. We wanted to tell the story about the vibrancy of Africa, the diversity in culture, all the historic sites, the beautiful people, the food, the music, things that we don't know about. And the reason why a lot of people have stayed away from Africa is because we have fed into that negative narrative. So we wanted to change that, and we did within a week. we generated over 300 million impressions. We had news outlets from all over the world contact us, wanted to talk about this new narrative. CNN put Ghana in number 4 of most popular tourist destinations of 2019 from 89th to 4th within 4 days. And then this is what happened. Every person that went came back here, and what changed was the narrative about how they thought of themselves, which is really the most important payoff, right? So people of color who grew up in this country, who say, I'm from South Carolina, I'm from Texas, I'm from Minnesota, that's not where you're from. Your lineage started way, 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 way before that. And see, if you don't know where you're from, you're not going to know where you're going. And that's what has plagued us as a culture here in this country, that our youth especially is lost in this lack of knowledge about where they are. And they're now in this place where 80% of the time they don't feel welcome. And that you can see when you turn on the news. Police brutality, what's happening at the borders with the immigrants. So it's very important that we understand the importance of acknowledging our rich culture, the kings and queens that we came from. We're not descendants of slaves. We're descendants of enslaved Africans. We're descendants of those kings and those queens that are in Africa. And by acknowledging that, by educating ourselves and informing ourselves of our culture and who we are, we gain a whole new self-respect, confidence, and a sense of self that will help us in our endeavors, that will help us to achieve, that will help us to win, to succeed, because now we carry our head up high. And this is a very timely discussion because Nipsey Hussle just died. And he was a prime example of somebody who not only embraced his cultural heritage, his family was from Eritrea, East Africa. He not only embraced his cultural heritage, he embodied it by how he thought of himself, his community, the purpose. And, you know, he says the marathon continues. That's, in essence, his definition of the purpose that he lived for. So we all, as people of color, we all need to embrace that purpose. And sometimes we just need a little nudge. And that nudge is going back to Africa and experiencing firsthand what it means to be welcome at home and to feel confident in who you are. Let go of double consciousness, right? For those of you who don't know what that is, double consciousness is when you walk around the earth with an acute sense of how you're being perceived, and then you adjust your behavior according to that rather than being yourself. And that's what plagues black people every single day of their life while they're walking around here in the United States. When you go to Africa, it's gone. In minutes, it's gone. Because you don't have to prove who you are. Everybody's the same. And you can truly step into your light, into who you are. So that's what Full Circle Festival is about, and we are going to continue to grow it. We are going to expand in other parts of Africa, and we are going to invite more and more and more people to come over there and experience it for themselves.
I love hearing you speak about it. I think it's something that is so profoundly important, especially now. I've been to Africa, I've been to East Africa and South Africa, and the things you say about the double consciousness and the relaxation sort of you feel instantly is something that I think you can only experience if you visit the continent. I also want to urge people to go to the African American Museum in DC because it really
Absolutely.
does, like you're saying, look into the history before slavery, and there's an amount of pride you have when you walk out of that building, and I think it would encourage people, even more people, to go to Ghana and go to some of these
100%.
events.
And I keep saying that we're not descendants of slaves. We're descendants of enslaved Africans.
I want to go. I think I'm going to go to Afrochella in
You
December.
should come with us.
Yeah.
We're going again in December.
I will be there. Awesome. I know we have a couple questions.
Hi, Boris. I wanted to know if there was ever a character that you played that was kind of hard to turn off once the role was over or once you went home?
Well, I mean, the obvious one would be Damon Carter because I was a lover on set. And then when I went home, it was funny about that one was that we got married on the show in season 4, and we got married in real life a year later. Yeah, it was kind of funny. But there's pieces of me in every character because I purposely try to infuse characters with what I can relate to, identify with emotionally. So I think when actors say that we become somebody else, I think it's a bunch of bullshit. I don't believe that. I believe that we try to relate to the experience that the character has and infuse our own personal, association.
You and Nicole are, I think, one of my favorite couples to watch on social media, by the way. I think I love how much you guys dance. Is that like something
There's a lot of dancing going
that
on.
helps, just you guys feel connected after all
Well,
these
my
years?
kids love to dance, and they have all the new dances that they bring home from school. So they teach us all those new dances. I don't even know what they're called. And I look stupid doing them, but I do them anyway. And we spend, look, my kids, they don't have phones. They're not on social media purposely because I don't feel kids are equipped to deal with the onslaught of craziness that comes through social media. And I told my kids, I said, you're not allowed to socialize with people you don't know until you know how to socialize with people you do know and you care about. And they're 14 and 12. They're absolutely ill-prepared to deal with all that negative and detrimental stuff that's out there. So we spend time, we cook at home, we eat dinner together, we tell stories, we check on each other, and we dance. And we build I just went to Home Depot with my kids and I built a stage for Nicole. And we put it in the living room because she told us she missed New York. She missed Broadway. So we built her a stage. So now she can perform monologues at home in the living room.
Will she come back to Broadway? That works too.
I think she is. Actually, next year, I think.
Good.
Yeah.
Look forward to that.
Yeah.
Next question.
Hi, so I have an online question. So being in the industry for as long as you have, I'm sure you've been offered like hundreds and hundreds of roles, but you can't like take all of them. Has there been a role that you've like been offered and turned down and like now you regret it or wish you?
Millions of roles. Yeah. I don't regret anything though, because everything happens for a reason, and I was offered a role in a very, very, very popular, big, huge, gigantic show, and it was out of the country, and I would have to spend 10 months out of the year somewhere else, away from my kids, and that was unacceptable. So I don't regret it not 1 second, because my legacy is my kids. My legacy is not some stupid TV show or some movie. In 20 years from now, nobody cares about that anyway. So I want to be there, with my kids. I want to be present. I want to be there every day. So if that means I have to sacrifice some TV show, then I'm going to always do that. Thank you.
That's true. I mean, your legacy will be your family. So what else do you have to worry about, really? Yeah. Well, I do love watching you on Station 19. I gave you my prediction for where I see your character ending up.
I'll let the writers know.
But we'll see. And if you guys want to check it out, you can watch Station 19 Thursdays on ABC. Give it up for Boris Kodjoe.
Thank you. Yee-hee.